So here is to a virtual Easter with great friends from different parts of the world. Happy Easter, my dear. Let's do a little,
Happy Easter. Cheers.
yay! It'll be fine Easter special. Woohoo!
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Here's the cord.
Hello. Happy birthday.
Thank you. This is going to start off the Easter special weekend, and I feel like we're dressed the only way we can make green beans.
I agree. You can't have green beans any other way.
And I love this recipe that you have presented for the green beans because this is easy peasy. You need olive oil or butter, some garlic, your green beans, salt. And if you want to do a variation, I'm going to do the Indian variation and add some ginger.
I was wondering if you were going to do a variation. So I thought you would like the variations at the bottom there.
Love this. This is awesome. So I've got to prepare my green beans. I'm doing a little wash and chopping.
I'm still chopping garlic.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I find with green beans, whenever I prepare them, as I'm about to do now, I just think of my grandmother, my Nanny Lillian. I remember her sitting on the back porch, just like prepping the green beans for like a Sunday supper.
Okay, I was wondering if that was like a thing my family did because we always like snapped the ends off on both ends.
You did that, yeah.
And then like as an adult, everyone else just like cooks the green beans without snapping the ends off. And I was like, wait, was my family just weird?
I snapped the ends off. My nanny
Okay.
snapped the ends off. They're so pretty. Beautiful. Like a plant. They are nature's candy. Yeah.
I mean, I have a huge thing. This is a lot of green beans for one person, but I'm just going to eat them all day.
They're great snacks. I like my vegetables. I'm more veggie than fruit.
Me too.
Snacks. Yeah.
Me too.
I do prefer them. What is your favorite vegetable to snack on?
Green beans. Green beans are definitely my favorite.
Yeah. They're good.
I do like a good, really anything that you can just smother in garlic. Like a good, like charred roasted broccoli is also like, yeah.
Good. Yeah. I'm big on kale chips. Done properly. You can fuck up a kale chip, but
yeah, I've burnt many a kale chip. Yeah. And then your apartment kind of smells like weed. Like burnt kale chips and weed have a very similar smell.
I never thought about that, but you're kind of
I mean, they're not exactly the same, but it's enough to question.
Oh my gosh. I'm getting through this. I had never thought about that, but yeah.
Yeah, so just tell your neighbors you're burning a lot of kale chips.
Well, then I'm going to assume my neighbors are big kale fans.
They're so healthy.
They're really, yeah. They're almost there. Are you doing a variation on your green beans, or?
I don't really follow recipes.
You don't, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big rule follower. Like I will wait for the crosswalk to tell me when to walk. So like this is my area of rebellion. It's really the only time I don't follow directions. So I am adding pine nuts to it at the end.
Okay.
Being kind of fancy there. And also just in the finishing saute, I like to add a little bit of Worcestershire. And what I would recommend to a person with a normal palate, a squeeze of lemon, but because I don't like citrus, I actually add a dash of white wine vinegar. Just for like a little touch of acid.
Yeah. Oh, that's wild. So even in like a cooking ingredient, you don't do the citrus?
No. Oh, wow. Yeah. Like even apple pie, you know how like there's like, yeah, I can taste it when people add that in.
Oh, wild. Oh, man. Okay. If you're ever making Casey a pie, don't put butter in it. You're forewarned. All right.
Recipe that we're using, I have the book here. It's
Oh,
from
great.
Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat.
Yes.
It's a very good book. Have you read this, Kelly?
I've read articles she's written for Bon Appetit. I've seen some stuff on Netflix.
Yeah, that's
Um,
based on this. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, she is awesome.
She's delightful.
She's awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
But this book, like the first half is really all about really the science of cooking, which is really interesting. This is not that, there's not that many recipes in this book overall, which is interesting.
All right. So it's more of a food book than a cookbook.
Yeah, it's more like a textbook with recipes.
Okay, okay. Get this going. We're bringing about a half a cup of water to the boil in a pan.
Yes. And one thing she says earlier on in the book is when you're bringing water to a boil like this, especially with vegetables, but pasta too, like be generous with the salt in it because that's going to then cook into the food and you don't need as much salt later in cooking because you're going to then cook it in saute. So you want it to be a little al dente.
Okay.
You don't want to cook them all the way.
Great. All right. I like the whole outfit.
Oh, thanks.
It's looking great.
This is like my go-to, like very simple. I'm gonna be kind of fake fancy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
picnic in the park.
You can't see it on the camera, but at the bottom of my dress are like little pictures of Paris and stuff.
Oh, that's so sweet. So I used the wok. So I had this like filled with water, so it boiled really nicely.
Yeah.
And now I can just rinse it out and cook the green beans in it.
All right. Oh my God, they taste so good.
And because you're generous with the salt, like can't they already taste a little seasoned?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So good.
So I actually also chopped up just a couple of shallots.
Oh, maybe I'll do that.
Shallot, I should say, to go with the garlic.
Oh, good call. I will do that too.
I'm really kind of flipping these green beans around to like coat the garlic.
Yeah.
And onions so they're like glistening. Oh yeah, look at it.
Got my shallots in here too. What's happening? Oh, this is awesome. I think green beans are one of my favorite sides at a holiday gathering.
Me too.
I mean, I love stuffing, or dressing, however some people call it dressing. I don't know why, but that's okay. But they're so good.
So I would say on my green beans, I probably got a couple minutes left on them. So this is when I'm going to add the dash of Worcestershire. It really just a dash because you don't want to like turn your green beans brown. Like you want to keep that nice color. And a dash of white wine vinegar. By fancy trays, I mean I bought this at the dollar store for one Thanksgiving I hosted, but then it turns out it washes just fine, and I've had it for like 8 years now.
Oh, nice.
But it's a fun shape. That's what makes it fancy.
Ridiculously simple.
So simple. The most time-consuming part is cleaning the green beans.
I think so. Because there we go, friends. There's mine. So beautiful. Look at us. We are ready for your holiday gathering. Just like Kelly and Kacie. Definitely grab a photo of that and I'll put it in the end of the show. But oh my God, shall we take a taste of our?
Yeah, let's do it. Benefit of living alone, eating right off the serving tray.
Exactly. Or out of the pan if you wish.
Mm.
Mm. Oh my God.
Still a little crunchy, which I love. Like keeping an eye on them and not cooking them too long is key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you really want to have that nice green color. You don't want it to get a little funky.
Yep. Yeah, nice and vibrant green.
Oh, and these flavors are so good. Mm.
Oh yeah, because you've got the ginger in yours.
Yeah, the ginger with the shallot, the garlic. Mm. This is my lunch. This is,
Yep. And I'm pretty excited about it.
mhm. Are we matching again? Are we both in florals?
Yes.
What the
Little
heck?
floral print. Look at that.
Last time you were on the show, we were kind of matching.
We were, yeah. Look at that. Wavelengths. We're just
Got
we're
the,
each other's style icons. Yes.
exactly. Got the ponytail going. It's
Mm-hmm.
today. Is this a family recipe or something that you came up with?
Something that I came up with. Family recipes. I don't know. I learned. What was it? My grandmother had this thing that everybody loved. This like chicken recipe. And it was like a mushroomy chicken casserole. And since I learned that it was just like chicken thighs and chicken legs, drumsticks thrown into a baking sheet, and then cream of mushroom soup poured on top of it, and like how much she used like French onion soup mix and all of these like terrible preserved kind of stuff like Velveeta and
Classic.
I don't know. And I don't know, like I love that sort of era of like American cooking, like that, diner fatty, lard and Velveeta and fake cheeses and fake fats all over the place. Like I love that to a degree, but I couldn't put all of that in my body all of the time. So family recipes are a hit or miss with me, especially around the holidays. I've had to adapt some of my recipes to pair with what everybody else is bringing, what everyone else is cooking, because I come from like a really blue collar kind of family. So like liver and onions is a big thing, and big like pots of spaghetti that are like canned sauces, zhuzhed up a little bit. A lot of people will boil their potatoes whole with the skin on, and then you're able to just remove the peels. But it doesn't take me that long to peel a potato, so.
Yeah. Okay.
So while I'm cutting my potatoes, I'll bring my water to a boil, about a tablespoon of salt, a little bit more, whatever you want, get freaky with it. So we'll put this on the side there, just set it there, and then start with cutting the potatoes, or peeling. So then you peel and then cut into 1-inch cubes. Come here. Up. My little trash compactor is looking for potato skins. He's my sous chef. He takes care of anything that falls on the floor.
I love
He
it.
does some taste testing. Great at dishes too. Don't tell the health inspector because he uses his tongue, but dishes always come out clean.
Yeah. All right. So I would be using milk for mine.
You're using milk?
Yeah.
Cool.
I know that you've got in here 18% cream or milk.
Or milk. I'm using 35% cream because that's what I had in my fridge, and I needed to use it up before it expires because it's a whole, like 1 liter of whole heavy cream, and what do you do with that? Which explains the COVID weight a little bit. Okay, my potatoes are peeled, so it says 1-inch cubes, but just cubes as much as possible so that they cook a little faster. There, I'm gonna add them to my boiling water.
Now we get to say fun things like cut the cheese.
Oh my God. Yeah, well, I'm grating the cheese, so I don't, you know. Is that the equivalent of crop dusting?
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Okay, get a little bowl. I got the, this stand mixer was a gift from my mom for my birthday. And then for Christmas, she bought me a couple of attachments. She got me the pasta roller and the grater slicer attachments. I try to, we are trying to do more meal prep. So I'll buy a head of cabbage, or I'll buy a brick of cheese, lettuces for coleslaws, whatever we want. And I'll just process it all on a Sunday or a Monday. And then we just have containers of foods to pick from throughout the week.
I love it. That's great.
You can always mix and adjust the taste as you're incorporating everything.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with about 8 ounces. This is 12 ounces, so I'm going to wait.
Oh, perfect.
Yes, you want 12 ounces. 8 ounces, this is about 12 ounces, so I'm going to reserve 4 ounces and just put it on the top. Oh, I love that smoked Gouda flavor. That smells so nice.
I love feta. Okay.
Yes. I'm obsessed with feta and goat cheese. Living in Uganda, there was goat's milk at every little stop, and goat cheese and everything, because people just had goats. Like, you're in the middle of the city in Kampala, but it's still kind of a village where I was living. So we had goats and cows in our backyards, just running through the fields. It was so nice. So I fell in love with goat then.
Yeah. I will say, for in defense of goat milk, because some people I've heard say, "Oh, it tastes goaty," you know. If you want to build your bones, it's got such great amounts of calcium. Oh my goodness, it is so good.
Yeah, and goats differ from cows in that they have different digestive enzymes. So where a cow's milk, this is the food science coming out, I'm sorry for boring everyone, but for cow's milk, the calcium is attached to an enzyme that the human body has difficulty breaking down and ingesting. So a huge amount of the calcium that's present in cow's milk passes through our bodies and isn't digested and isn't absorbed by our bodies. So goat's milk, the amount of calcium that we actually absorb and we get from the milk is super, super high.
Yeah.
It's a terrible story.
Oh no.
So when I was living in Kampala, I was walking to work one day, and there was this pack of like 5 or 6 goats, and one, the very obviously male goat, was chasing all of the female goats and trying to milk them. And they would run off, and it was hilarious and so funny to watch. So I had my phone out. I was all the other people was like, "Who's this white bitch making goat porn? What is this?" But this goat was so aggressive towards these female goats and running around and just trying to fuck. And when it ran past me, I got a smell of like goat sex. And if you're ever wondering what goat sex smells like, it smells surprisingly like goat cheese. And ruined goat cheese for me for a while. Our garlic going, we have our cheese grated or prepared.
Yep.
Might as well cut up the onions.
Yeah.
Whatever you want with them. So
this is my nice charcuterie board of my cheese and my onions and my butters
oh,
cut.
lovely.
There we go. That's great. All right.
So I like green onions because a little trick. If you use your green onions, you can just keep the bottoms, keep the whites. If you don't use the whites in your recipe, Put them in a little glass or a jar, and then put about an inch of water on the bottom and replace or water every day, and then they grow back up. So these have grown so much.
Very true. I'm doing that in my apartment, but I recently just cut mine down because I use them for a dish. But you're right. That was something I learned maybe a year ago. I'm embarrassed. I didn't know I could do that.
Ah, it's really convenient.
Yeah.
And then just give a rough chop to your onions. This knife was a Christmas gift from my girlfriend, and I love it.
Oh, gorgeous. Smells good and garlicky.
Yummy.
Love it.
As long as the individual cloves are kind of soft and you can pull them out, it's good to go. It doesn't have to be super roasted. Mine are done, so I'm going to pull out and use the potato peeler to get these. I like things garlicky, so I'm going to use 6 or 7 good chunks.
Yeah, I've got 5 cloves here.
Yeah.
They're larger.
Totally
size.
up to your taste.
Oh, beauty.
Ah, smells and tastes delicious.
Oh God. It's like candy.
Okay.
It's like candy.
It is. It is.
I know. I was saying to my boyfriend, he just started cooking with Brussels sprouts, which blows my mind. He's like,
Oh,
and I said to him, I was like, it's like candy. If you roast a Brussels sprout properly, so good.
that's the thing. Brussels sprouts. When I was a kid, my mom would serve Brussels sprouts, and they were frozen Brussels sprouts that were boiled, and they smelled like troll farts, and it was terrible. But like if you get fresh Brussels sprouts and roast them so that they're like crispy on the outside, and just drizzle them in nice butter or a cheese sauce. Oh, heaven.
Or my thing that I love to do is honey and balsamic vinegar.
Oh yeah.
So good. It's so good.
You can tell we're both Eastern European. We're just garlic like candy. Okay, potatoes, butter. You can use a masher. You can use the mixer attachment on your stand mixer. You can blitz it in a blender, no matter, or a food processor. However soft you want them.
Yeah.
I don't like them too overworked, because then you release all the starch and the gluten and it becomes gummy. Add our yogurt or sour cream.
Yeah.
If you're freaky, use some yogurt. So 1.5 cups of yogurt. Again, the higher fat content, the creamier and the richer your potatoes are going to be. I was going to reserve about 4 ounces of the cheese.
Oh man, I can't wait to try this. This looks good. May not make for the greatest picture at home, but this smells amazing.
There, so that's about 4 ounces. Then add 8 ounces of the cheese into the potatoes.
Okay.
And then I'm going to fold in the whiter parts of the green onion and keep the nice rich green parts for garnish. Going to a potluck, if you're going to a family dinner and you're bringing the side, casserole it up. Let's put this into a baking dish. Ooh. Just load it up. And then, I don't know how fancy you want to get, but in the recipe I made some suggestions for things that you can put on.
Yeah.
Little bacon, little prosciutto, little
Oh, yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever you want. Some mushrooms, chives, slices of garlic, throw some, I don't know, throw a sprig of rosemary on top. Whatever you want to make it fancy. Now, to make it fancy, I'm just going to add, gonna top with my green onions.
Nice.
And then add that 4 ounces of cheese on top.
Okay.
And then when you're ready to eat it, just put it in the oven at 350, 375, just until the cheese is melted and starts to bubble. You get a nice little crust on top. You know what? I'm a big fan of paprika. When I make shepherd's pie, which is basically, this is the top half of a shepherd's pie, sprinkle a bit of paprika. It adds color. It complements the crusty, harder parts of the potato.
Oh, that's good.
It's very good. Definitely needs some salt and pepper.
Yum. Okay.
And you have your nice and easy mashed potatoes. Now, of course, on a holiday, you have other things to do. So these are really good if you want to prep in advance. You can roast the garlic in advance. You can cut the potatoes in advance. You can even blanch them. Whatever you need to do to save time on the day. Then all you do is put the potatoes to boil, mash them, add the ingredients, and you're good. This is, I wish I could try yours with the goat feta.
It's so good. Oh my gosh.
This is wonderful. It's a smoked Gouda with the roasted garlic is just singing.
Yeah. No, it's wonderful. There's a nice little, with the feta, there's just a nice little like tangy kick, which I quite dig.
It'll be